Don, why don't we see this Bale with Spurs?
I think, well, I mean, Jose had him for a start, so he's quite withdrawn or didn't play too many minutes. I just think he feels relaxed, I think, in a Welsh shirt. I think he feels the pride. It's the same sort of argument with Paul Pogba and Man United. Some players just come alive, and I think he takes more responsibility. He's quite...
It's different than Pogba, though, right? No, yesterday on the show, we said Pogba's better with France because he's got better players. There's not better players at Wales than there are at Spurs.
No, that's true, but I think it depends on what your character's like. From what I hear, what he's like as a person, he's quite shy. He goes into a Spurs dressing room and he's got to feel as though he's got to have a lot of love, which you find it really strange for the career that he's had and the amount of trophies that he's won. But I think when he probably goes back into the Welsh squad, he probably has a little bit more self-belief, a little bit more confidence. He can probably show that a little bit more. Where at Tottenham, as you said, he's got some world-class players around him.
Is he in the position? Is Bale now in the position where, regardless of who he's playing for domestically, he's never going to get the praise, no matter what he does? Because if you look at the stats...
has he earned any praise?
If you look at the stats, by the way, Gareth Bale in the Premier League this year has a better per-minute ratio for goals and assists than anybody else.
Yeah, that's because he doesn't play as much, Stevie. I mean, that's a statistic based off numbers.
Then some things happen. So he's in a position now where domestically, regardless of whether it's Tottenham, whether it's Real Madrid, no matter what he does, he ain't getting any praise. When he pulls on a Wales jersey, everybody loves him.
I think that's slightly harsh.
But he might can't argue with statistics. Listen, I'm not a huge stats guy, you know, but you can't argue with stats. If you've got the numbers...
You argue with goals expected.
If you've got the numbers...
2 days ago, you argued over goals expected.
Everybody sat here yesterday and said, how about Ronaldo? Fantastic. Did nothing all game and scored 2 goals.
So you're saying Bale's played better for Spurs than he did today for Wales?
It's okay for Ronaldo to do nothing for 89 minutes and then score 2 goals, but it's not all right for Gareth Bale. That's kind of the way it feels.
I think part of the problem with Bale is everybody still expects to see Bale from 5-6 years ago. Just putting his head down, running past people, doing things. Now he has to drop off more, play more as a playmaker behind the scene.
He was brilliant today.
Well, exactly.
The passing was great. But Don,
that's what I said.
He didn't play like you saw him years earlier.
But then you can argue that Ronaldo.
100%.
So Ronaldo now.
Absolutely.
So you've got to credit these guys where...
Reinventing.
But Ronaldo's producing at club level.
But they're not the same athletes anymore, Sebi. So you've got to have the brains about you to go, right, have I got my blistering speed? Gareth Bale was like a racehorse, wasn't he? He could go box to box like you wouldn't believe it. Ridiculous numbers he was hitting in terms of goals, but more and more so what he was doing. Now he's reinventing himself by the ball that he played to Aaron Ramsey. He probably never played that in a Real Madrid
I think there's also a question,
same as Ronaldo.
Is how much does he care? Because there's obviously some scenes at Real Madrid where it looked like he could really not care at all. Right. And sometimes that follows you.
But you know as well, when you come to the latter part of your career, he's already come out, Gareth Bale, a couple of months ago and said, I'm not going to tell everyone what's going to happen to my career because it'll cause a stir. So that's just left wide open. You don't know if he's going back to Real Madrid. There was rumours of him maybe this was going to be his last tournament and then maybe not playing again. He's got so much more to offer.
Sure.
What was it? Wales, golf, Madrid, penalties. It's probably the 4th one there.
Yeah.
Gab, I hear you're laughing at us in our Gareth Bale conversation here in studio. Why?
No. I mean, I agree with Kasey. I mean, I think there's another big elephant in the room. And in addition to everything you guys said about him being older and the injuries and so on, I think a lot of football clubs don't feel that they can trust him. And they don't feel that they don't feel that they can trust him off the ball. I think certainly that was one of the reasons he had so little playing time with Mourinho at Spurs. I think that was one of the issues why he didn't play at Real Madrid. And with Wales, it's different because he's the best player and everybody else works for him. That and the other elephant in the room, which is obviously his wages, his unwillingness to go anywhere, to even contemplate some kind of pay cut in exchange for more years, that tells teams, that sends a message to teams that it is the way Kasey described it. You know, how much does he actually care? And I think whether it's accurate or not, you know, this has been like a millstone around his neck. So he's a Madrid player, and if he shows up there, he's going to keep collecting paychecks until June 30th, 2022. That's not going to change.
Sorry, guys. You know, Sebi as well, sometimes you get a point in your career where you just start enjoying your football because you know you haven't got too many years left. I think that's what we're seeing in Bale. He's loving life playing for Wales.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.